Hey there, folks. It is Tuesday, April 1st. The time is 11:34 a.m. and that was the 510 Spadina Streetcar I was just on. I was just getting a little acquainted with an old friend, as on March 30th, the 510 finally returned to service. And this is Queens Quay and Lower Spadina Avenue. I hopped on the 510 at Union Station. And the temperature right now is about 1 degree Celsius. Yesterday it was about 8 or 9 and it felt a lot colder yesterday. There's not much in the way of wind chill right now. But I did a video going up Spadina in July. When the streetcars were taken out of service. And there was quite the gong show of buses on Spadina, and the streetcars were supposed to return in December. And then in December it was announced that the critical track work was running a bit behind schedule and it would be January, and then they just kept pushing the date of the return of the 510 until finally, just before April, service resumed as we head under the Gardner Expressway. So for this one, we're just going to walk north up Spadina a bit. I just wanted to come and walk along Spadina while the streetcars were operating once more. We've got a very fractured and disjointed streetcar network. I think it's by far the most extensive in North America. That's if you include LRTs as well. And I can't seem to recall a single moment in time where the streetcar network has been running uninterrupted. There's always a diversion or a closure. The longest time last year, the St. Clair line wasn't operating, the 512. The Queen line is constantly having its service altered. Right now there's a chunk of the Queen line that doesn't run through a part of downtown due to the Ontario line service. It gets diverted south into the financial district. This is definitely one of the better streetcar lines, and it was sorely missed when it was out. Especially during rush hour. This area here, where a lot of people make their way south to connect to the Gardner Expressway, was quite a choke point. When you had buses in live lanes of traffic, they attempted to have a bus-only lane at some point when they realized what a disaster it was. That's definitely great having a dedicated right-of-way. The last few times I walked this way, I was on this side of the street, so let's cross over. Up the west side for a little bit. There's the Sky Dome and CN Tower. It's worth noting today is April Fool's. That floated a cooking video on this channel. I have another video ready to go on my other channel, Johnny Stumbles, later today. That one isn't so much an April Fool's theme video though. This is the City Place neighborhood. Oh, no one's turning right here. Except for this truck turning left. That's why you keep your head on a swivel, not just blindly follow people across the street. There's what was supposed to be the signature tower at City Place. It's called Canada House. It still is, but it is much shorter than what was initially proposed for that spot. One of the reasons why I usually stick to the east side of Spadina crossing this way. You get a neat view in and out of Union Station and some of the financial district towers and the CN Tower, of course. There's a new development up ahead, the Well. Take a peek at the rail corridor in a moment. This will branch off into two separate lines just west of here. But the GO train network, which is a commuter rail train network, uses a hub and spoke model. So these trains feed into Union Station. Which is just over there. And because much of the demand throughout the day is during the morning and afternoon rush hour, during the afternoon like this, I guess late morning in this case, they just park these trains because there's not really much point in increased service. Well, the GO train network does have plans, or there are plans to aggressively increase the frequency. Downtown was it still is the primary employment center in the entire region, and that's why so many trains feed here. But it makes connecting from different parts of the GTA to one another by transit a bit difficult. You have to take the train into downtown and then connect to another train. Or find a GO bus, which isn't nearly as comfortable or convenient. Like if you were going from Brampton to Vaughan. This is Front Street. There's a train, or rather a streetcar, turning north on Spadina at King up ahead. In the 1800s, there were originally horse-drawn carriages operating transit service on Spadina. And in the early 20th century, powered electric streetcars replaced them. As we look west along Wellington Street West, there's a down mailbox, but eventually buses took over Spadina. Then in the 90s, the Spadina Streetcar made a somewhat triumphant return. And they built this dedicated right-of-way, which is really the only way streetcars should ever exist. They shouldn't be mingling with traffic. One of the reasons why this is one of the more reliable and faster moving streetcar lines. Spadina has a dedicated right-of-way, so does Queens Quay, and St. Clair does as well.
Yeah, so I don't know.
King Street's not so bad through downtown because it's got a designated transit priority corridor to run through. But Queen, Dundas, and Carlton can be a major headache, especially through stretches where there's street parking and heavy traffic. Streetcars often get tangled up and take all day to make a short journey. King Streetcar. The streetcar line terminates at Bloor and Spadina. Underground at Spadina Station to the north. And at Queens Quay, it turns east. And shoots over to around Bay Street, where it turns north and heads up to Union Station. But if you're starting at Spadina Station going to Union, the streetcar really doesn't make a lot of sense, because you can take the streetcar, or rather the subway, for that same trip. There's an out-of-service streetcar. There's not a lot of people out relative to what I normally expect to see on Spadina, even for a weekday afternoon. There's the Joey Bats foot. Now the wind is kicking up. There's a 510. Frequency is pretty decent. It seems I never have to wait more than a few minutes to catch one. What a Bagel restaurant and bakery. I wonder if that is related to the What a Bagel that used to be near Yonge and Eglinton. We're about to cross Richmond Street here. View of the CN Tower. It's a little bit incomplete from this vantage point, just the tip of it. There's also a disappearing view due to a new tower being erected a few blocks or several blocks north of here in Chinatown. Let's see if I can spin around and get a view of that. That was pointed out by a viewer. This is Queen Street West coming up, and here on the southwest corner, well, Graffiti Alley is almost plugged up. And on the northeast corner, they're building entrances to a future Ontario line station. I don't know if this guy is singing or preaching or what. That's Queen Street West.
In the eyes and the minds of the unbelievers. He don't want you to know the truth about Jesus Christ. He wants to keep you in the dark. You're giving me a little promo.
All right. To each their own. I'd like to think if there was a God, he wouldn't plant some obnoxious dude with a loud megaphone on the street corner. If I was trying to convince people I existed, that's certainly not what I would do. As we're about to enter Chinatown. My eyeballs just threw up, and you're about to see why in a second. Well, at least this one won't rust. What a stupid vehicle. I think Chinatown officially starts here at Sullivan Street. This Purelator truck here has a parking ticket. Dog could leap right out if it wanted to.
It's not dead. Thank you. You win.
Is Dundas Street coming up, the Alexandra Park neighborhood, undergoing a revitalization of sorts, is over to the left. There's something very Canadian. A plastic milk container. We buy our bags, or our milk in bags, and then put them in those things. Kind of the heart of Chinatown, Dundas and Spadina. cannot understand a thing. I always like walking south down this stretch on this side of the street because you can see the CN Tower looming in the background. That's a view that's about to be obscured somewhat by that building going up on the right. See if I can look up how tall it will be. My super sleuthing has revealed it'll be 13 stories. What I'll do is at college, I'll hop on the Spadina Streetcar. I don't know if I'll record that leg, but I'll head up to Spadina Station and head home.
Nice lady. You traveling?
Random combo. There's a look into Kensington Market. Depot. Might be disappointed if you go in there looking to buy someone named Herb. Delivery service disrupted due to e-bike repair. There's Rolsan, which used to be located across the street where that new building was going up, but you can see that view of the tower, kind of obscured by the crane a little bit, is going to be disappearing pretty soon, and I find that a bit unfortunate. Although at the same time, I also think it's silly not to build something. I know Vancouver has a height limit to protect the views of the mountains. San Francisco had a height limit in place for quite a while. I think they still do. New Ho King. Let's see if that view will disappear from this vantage point. looks like this is safe, but the building's going to stick up right alongside the CN Tower, so it still won't quite look as good. There's Grossman's Tavern, whose owner unfortunately recently passed away. It's a legendary live music venue in the area. I think the streetcar I'm going to hop on is well south of here. I was hoping we'd get a view of a southbound streetcar head on from crossing here, but apparently not. This is College Street, served by the 506 Carlton streetcar. So on this walk, we've crossed King streetcar line, the Queen streetcar line, Dundas, and College. And the stretch of College will be quite busy with U of T students. Save that walk for a future day. Awkwardly, we have to double cross to get to the platform there. My chariot, so I'll resume recording. I'm not sure if I'll record on the streetcar or not. You'll just have to stay tuned to find out.
Oh, okay. Next time.
To Union Station.
In fact, I'd like to actually enjoy that. We're gonna go to a real alcohol for their school. But a couple, like for y'all in Western, for school. I'm not going to. I don't drink, Georgia.
It was a little too busy to record on there. And the view out the window wasn't very clear, but all those people would have been waiting outside on the street a few days ago. I'm gonna hop on this train that's about to roll in, so I hope you enjoyed that one. Walking up Spadina as the 510 Spadina Streetcar returns. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below if you wish to support what I do. There's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there's a super thanks button down below if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, the train's rolling in. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Yoink.
Line 2 towards Kennedy.
When you're in it, you don't realize how bad it is. I call it when you're in the box. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're very good at making sure you don't have other realities to compare to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, even then you know.
The next station is St. George Station.